All right, you guys, I am going to go ahead and go through probably just one video with you on for the quizzes. And then what I'll do is I'll post today's quiz once I get everybody's results back. Okay. So if that doesn't happen till tomorrow after a Zoom session, then I will post directly following our Zoom session in the morning tomorrow. All right. Okay, so for this particular problem, we are asked to compare the two types of triangles that we have here. So you should notice that you have a smaller triangle and then you have a larger triangle here. Okay, and basically you could set up proportions several different ways. The only thing is that you just need to be consistent. So since I'm talking about EC here, EC is actually a piece of the smaller triangle, right? So on the other side, they put ED. Okay, so it looks like they're putting the information of the small triangle on the top. And I'm assuming CA is being used for the bottom portion here. Okay, CA is part of the larger triangle. So you'll notice that they're only doing a piece of that larger one, right? So if they're only doing a piece of it, then a piece of the larger triangle would be DB as well. So DB was the correct solution for this particular question. Okay. Number 2, a person in a building casts a shadow at the same time of day. The person is 6 feet tall and casts a shadow of 3 feet. So you notice this question doesn't actually have the numbers attached to the triangles. So I'm going to read a little bit of the word problem and then write on my question, okay? So the person is 6 feet tall. Here's the person. And casts a shadow of 3 feet. So the person casts a shadow of 3 feet. The building casts a shadow of 20. Which ratio can be used to calculate the height of the building? So again, sometimes I think it's kind of harder whenever you are given the multiple choice answers for these, because you have to be really careful. So I always start by looking at the first proportion, so 6 over 3, and then I kind of ignore the second one and I make up my own. So 6 over 3, if I want to find the height here, the 6 is the height of the person, so x is the height of the building. I would have to have x over 20. So even with me just solving or checking this first one, I actually came up with the answer. Okay, so again, this is a shortcut for not having to go through all of them. My suggestion was to just start with A. You can start with any of them if you want, but I just started with A. And I kind of ignored the second part of the fraction because that could confuse me. So I just looked at 6 over 3. I noticed that the height was on top first. So the height had to be on top here as well. Okay, so start with the proportion that's complete. Which side is opposite of angle A? Here's angle A. Opposite is directly on the opposite side all the way across. So BC is correct. Given the triangle, what is the tangent of angle D? Well, if we remember our acronym, SOHCAHTOA, tangent of angle D is opposite over adjacent, because that comes from TOA, right? So here's angle D. Opposite from angle D is going to be 7. And adjacent is going to be right next to angle D, in fact, touching angle D, right? It can't be 8.1 because that's the hypotenuse. It has to be 7 over 4. For number 5, a right triangle is shown. If the measurement of angle H is 68, what is HI? So I'm going to go ahead and put a question mark here. That's what I need to find. And I'm given that H is 68 degrees. So in this case, I'm filling in the triangle a little bit, and I'm going to ask myself, what is 2 to 68? Is 2 opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? Well, 2 is adjacent, right? Now the question mark is the piece I need to find. So is the question mark opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse of 68? This is the hypotenuse, right? So I look at my acronym again, SOHCAHTOA, and I ask myself, which trig function is using adjacent and hypotenuse? Well, adjacent and hypotenuse is going to be cosine. So cosine of 60 degrees equals the adjacent side 2 over the hypotenuse, which is HI. My goal is to find HI. So in order to find HI, I'm going to start by multiplying by HI on both sides. And I need to get HI by itself. So now I'm going to go ahead and divide by 68 degrees, or cosine of 68 degrees, sorry. So I'm going to use my calculator, and I'm going to do 2 divided by the cosine of 68 degrees. And it looks like I'm getting 5.34, which is right here. Alrighty, and that was it for this quiz. So I'm just going to go ahead and post this one in your Nearpod today, and then I will probably just post the other video in our Google Classroom once I get everybody's answers. Have a good day, guys.